G'day guys and gal, Warhammer 40k is rife with fan theories. There is just so much unexplored lore lurking about and so many mysteries that it genuinely seems like GW gets off on us making up some theories. Some theories are great and are now my headcanon because they fit so neatly into the lore. I made a video on some of those a while ago. However, other theories are complete trash, with the best part about them being that some people think they are great and others have a functioning brain. Regardless, they are fun to talk about and even more fun to take a steaming dump on. Before we get started, there is 2 weeks until the end of the major mini painting competition and oh my Jesus, some of the paint jobs are delicious. I'll save showing off the best ones until the winner announcement, but it's been amazing seeing how creative and skilled you guys and gals are. Even if you don't submit a winning entry, there is still a good chance I'll feature your paint job, so use the next 2 weeks to send it in. Speaking of the minis, an absolute legend by the name of Roy decided to enlarge, 3D print, and then kit bash a Warhammer toy into a major mini toy. No, these are not for sale, so please don't sue me, McFarlane. I'm just shouting out Roy for being a legend. He often modifies 40k toys to amazing result. So I'll plug his Instagram in the description below if you want to see some of the awesome stuff he has done. Mad Lad even created a Garviel Loken toy. Final note about the minis, we are now live on Etsy and eBay and are running a 20% launch discount on those platforms, so if you were keen to get a mini, then I'd love it if you could buy from one of those. By doing so, it builds up our trust with the platform and allows it to scale organically with people who don't even know the channel. Today we'll go over 5 fan theories that I think are a bit shit. I'll explain the theory and then poke holes in it or explain why it just wouldn't be great. I'll also talk about where the theory came from in the first place. Let's get into it. First up is the theory that Abaddon is a clone of Horus, hence why he is so strong and powerful. So shit, dude. Abaddon's entire redeeming shtick is that he loathes Horus and what he became, nothing more than a meat suit for chaos. By Abaddon merely being a modified clone of Horus, it cheapens all of his achievements and just makes both characters very lame. This theory seems so bad that it does make you wonder where it came from. Well, surprisingly, it first appeared in the actual lore. See, Horus's gene seed had a side effect of making many of his space marines look eerily like him. There was even a space marine that people called Little Horus, as the Astartes looked exactly like his dad. Abaddon was one such space marine, the gene seed shaping his features into that of his father. When Abaddon was wounded by Sigismund and placed in a healing tube, one of his lieutenants was like, "Fuck me, you look like Horus, eh? Are you a clone?" And Abaddon was like, "Who cares?" Now this definitely wasn't Abaddon being coy or insinuating anything. He was just in a dismissive, grumpy mood after getting impaled by a big-ass greatsword. Abaddon actually fought and killed a genuine clone of Horus, and the two beings were wildly different. Abaddon also isn't nearly strong enough to be considered a Primarch clone, only actually killing the Horus clone because the Horus clone let his guard down and more or less let Abaddon kill him. Overall, it's a bad theory that would cheapen the hell out of Abaddon, who already struggles as a character to begin with. Another shit theory that only heretics like to jerk off to is the theory that the Emperor is deliberately attempting to ascend to become the Chaos God of Order, or just a god in general, and that has been his plan all along. This is the most plot hole ridden theory ever. The Emperor has been doing everything he can to prevent his own divinity, creating a secular empire, viciously punishing those who cling on to religion and superstition, attempting to create a human webway to reduce humanity's reliance on the warp, the list goes on. He is only sitting on the golden throne out of total necessity, as he needs to guard the Astronomicon and keep the webway gate under Terra sealed, lest demons sodomize everyone. He also really does not enjoy sitting on the throne. It's incredibly agonizing for him, has decayed his body and shattered his consciousness and psyche. Even the Dark Elder were wildly impressed with how much agony the throne was causing, and those guys know a thing or two about pain. No, the Emperor wanted to claim the galaxy for mankind, then allow mankind to govern themselves whilst he shepherded humanity's ever-growing psychic race, allowing humanity to overcome the warp and not make the same mistakes as the Elder. Instead, he is now low-key dying, demons are everywhere, and everything sucks. Definitely not the outcome of his choice, regardless of what those warp coke snorting freaks with tentacle cocks like to chant while they hook up their nipples to a warp drive. Even if the Emperor does ascend into true godhood, he probably won't be happy about it. Another heretical shit fan theory is that the Emperor was going to genocide the Space Marines and then either imprison or kill the Primarchs when the Great Crusade was completely and utterly finished. This is a shit stupid theory for multiple reasons. First and foremost is that the Emperor wouldn't stand a chance against 19 Primarchs and 18 legions. He already struggled enough with half that number. Imagine doubling it without any real army to defend him. Even if he ambushed them, word would get out that the Big E's angels, his champions, had been betrayed by the Big E. The Imperium would implode. This theory comes from a few places. Firstly, the fact that he genocided his Thunder Warriors when their use had expired. However, the Thunder Warriors were short-lived brutes, gradually going insane as their bodies and minds could not cope with the crude augmentations that they had received. The Astartes, on the other hand, are long-lived, intelligent, and extremely versatile. Guilliman had taught his Ultramarines how to govern and administer in preparation for the end of the Great Crusade. Many other Astartes picked up hobbies and were preparing and excited for the end of the wars. Ahriman, for example, was an exceptional wine creator and had his own vineyard. This theory also stems from chaos propaganda, with the traitor legions saying that the Emperor creating the mortal High Lords of Terror being a chief example of the Astartes being pushed to the side. In reality, the Emperor just didn't want a hectic class divide by putting immortal super soldiers as the leaders of everything. The Primarch and Astartes were created out of necessity, but that doesn't mean they should command humanity forever. The Emperor also displayed a genuine connection and love for many of his Primarchs, especially ones like Vulcan, Sanguineous, Horus, and the Lion. He wouldn't want to cull them, nor did he have a reason to. The Thunder Warriors only got put down because they were being replaced with better warriors, and they would also become a liability with their decaying sanities. The Primarchs, on the other hand, would have made legendary governors and builders to bring mankind into a true golden age. Rogel Dawn was very excited for the end of the Great Crusade, so that he could begin building artworks instead of bastions. So no, the Emperor did not have the means nor the incentive to genocide his sons and Space Marines. The furthest he would have gone would be to rein in the more problematic legions, such as the Night Lords and World Eaters, and then gradually phase out the legions over a few thousand years by reducing gene seed production as mankind enjoyed a long era of peace. In saying that though, the Emperor wasn't ignorant of the fact that the Orcs and upcoming Xenos like the Necrons and Tyranids would remain a threat, hence he would never truly abolish his greatest weapons. There are many theories about the Emperor's origins. Officially, he is the culmination of thousands of shaman souls merged into one being. However, some theorize that he was the creation of scientists during the Dark Age of technology, given false memories and created as a failsafe to save mankind if shit ever were to go too sour. And go too sour it did. They basically say that he was released from stasis during the Age of Strife as a last resort. However, once again, this theory is riddled with plot holes that I'm about to shove my fingers deep down inside. Firstly, the Emperor had done many spicy things before the Dark Age of technology was to begin, such as beating up the Void Dragon and then imprisoning it on Mars, to accelerate Mars's technological advancement. Also, his meeting of various other perpetuals, like Erda and Alanis, occurred before the Dark Age, so it'd be pretty bloody difficult if he wasn't around then. I guess you could argue that all perpetuals were creations of the Dark Age of technology, and all given false memories, but then it just becomes a bit of a stretch that isn't even good quality to begin with. Other issues with this theory include the fact that mankind had a very basic understanding of the warp during the Dark Age. There was barely any psykers, and the ones that did exist were very low-key, like navigators. It makes no sense that a civilization that knows fuck all about the warp would be able to create the greatest psyker in existence. So where does this shit theory come from? Well, it actually originates in the lore. During the Unification Wars, there was a noble woman who was not a fan of the Emperor in the slightest. She found him very creepy and accused him of being a creation, a living weapon from the Dark Age of technology. That woman was a bit of a whack bitch, and ended up getting assassinated by Constantine Valdor for stealing Earth's water. So take her theory with a grain of salt. Either way, the theory has too many plot holes for it to be any good. The last theory I want to go over is by far the most controversial in the entire fandom. Some people love it, some people hate it. The best part is that it will either be proven correct or completely dispelled in the last Horus Heresy book, so we will know soon. This theory is of course the one where Sanguineous fights Horus on the Vengeful Spirit, then falls to the Black Rage and beats the War Master. Then when the Emperor arrives, a rabid Sanguineous attacks his father, mortally wounding him before the Emperor then kills him and obliterates the wounded Horus's soul, so that the Chaos Gods wouldn't be able to relive Horus's memories and uncover the truth. Now personally, I'm a big fan of this theory as it fits into the lore, creates a very tragic plot twist, messes with Warhammer 40k's concept of fate and destiny, and fills in a number of plot holes. But I also understand why people don't like it, as it is quite a dramatic change from the current official lore, which is that Horus and Sangi fight, Sangi is killed, his death triggers the Black Rage within his sons, and then Emperor fights Horus, is unable to kill his favorite son Horus, gets mortally wounded, Alanis jumps in front of the Emperor, gets obliterated, which inspires the Emperor to one-shot Horus and delete his soul. However, the Emperor of modern lore is a cold, ruthless man who definitely would love to see Horus get nuked. Him and Horus have been psychically talking shit to each other for a while now, and I really don't see the Emperor hesitating. On top of that, Sanguinius' death feels almost pointless. It's not like he opens a chink in Horus's armor or wounds him for the Emperor to deal the final blow. He just kind of rocks up and gets killed. Also, the Alanis pious sacrifice has also been seemingly retconned as legend and rumor rather than what actually happens. However, with Sanguinius beating Horus and going insane with the Black Rage, it makes sense that the Emperor would be hesitant to put the rabid Sanguinius down. I also hate it when things play out exactly how they are prophesized too. I love it when unexpected shit happens that shocks future seers. Stuff like the resurrection of Guilliman, which nobody foresaw, was baller as. The Blood Angel's trigger to fall to the Black Rage could now happen when Sanguinius falls. I know, this video is the list about the most hated fan theories, and trust me, this theory is very hated, but that is often because people don't understand the entire theory, just fragments of it. They also often don't really understand the lore very well either. Horus at the end of the siege is a fragmented meat suit of a Primarch who was terminally dying from the wound Leman gave him. Compare that to Sanguinius, who had just fucked Angron and Kabunda, and then who would go on to get a massive power boost from the Black Rage, and you would very quickly realize that Sangi would raw doggy Horus no worries. To be honest though, I would be very surprised if GW ends up going with this theory. However, the old official lore just doesn't fit anymore, so they'll have to do something new and interesting if they want to give this series a proper send-off. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up a Major Mini, preferably from Etsy or eBay this time, just so we can build up some trust on those platforms. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the real subscribe button for more theorized content. Join the Discord for more memes, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.